arrival of the official party and remain standing for the presentation of colors and the national anthem. Military personnel in attendance, but not part of the official party, this will be a covered ceremony. Time orderly, strike 2 bells. Senior Chief Petty Officer, United States Navy, arriving. Time orderly, strike 2 bells. Master Chief Petty Officer, United States Navy, retired, arriving. Time orderly, strike 4 bells. Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army Reserve, arriving. Color Guard, parade the colors. Retire the colors. Welcome to the retirement ceremony in honor of Senior Chief Cryptologic Technician Interpreter Suzanne Abarca. My name is Master Chief Virginia Soto, and I will be your Mistress of Ceremonies today. I'd like to welcome Captain Sanders, Commanding Officer of Navy Information Operations Command, Hawaii. Thank you for coming today, sir. And I extend an especially warm welcome to Senior Chief Abarca's husband, Tom, daughter, Gabby, and son, Antonio, her sister, Kate, and brother-in-law, Sean Bealey, who traveled all the way here from Wisconsin, and Suzanne's mother, June, who was watching from her home in Wisconsin. Tom's mother, Carol, is also with us here today, and we're so happy to have each of you here with us. This ceremony not only celebrates Suzanne's 24 years of service, but the love, support, and guidance you all provided, which enabled her accomplishments. The Navy retirement ceremony is a time-honored tradition where we pay tribute to a shipmate going ashore for the final time and recognize her 24 years of dedicated service to our nation and the freedoms we all enjoy. We are proud to share this moment with Suzanne at the end of her distinguished military career. Just as this is the end of one phase in her life, it is the beginning of another. Today gives us the opportunity to wish her every success in the future as she sets sail to new challenges and adventures. I'd like to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Sean Bealey, who began his military service in November 1993 and served for 9 years as an enlisted soldier. He received a commission through Officer Candidate School in May 2003. He has held several assignments, including deployments to Iraq in 2009 and 10, and most recently, assuming command of the 12th Battalion Engineer 104th Regiment in June 2023. I must also add that Suzanne confesses that Sean is not only her brother-in-law, but also a personal hero of hers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the presiding officer of today's event, Lieutenant Colonel Sean Bealey, United States Army Reserve.
Okay, all right. So as it should be, right? I need my enlisted to assist me. So, like I said, between the three of us, we were able to get it completed. So again, thank you for the introduction. Suzanne, thank you for inviting me to be a part of this ceremony. I'm deeply honored. When one reaches the end of a journey, long journey, I think it's important to take a moment to look back at the beginning. The beginning of Suzanne's naval career consisted of her telling her parents one day during the final semester of her senior year in college that she was considering enlisting in the Navy. Her father, a Navy vet himself, told her to think it over, maybe talk to some family friends who had been in the Navy, and really take the time to do her research. The following day, she called and said she had enlisted and been sworn in. So it was like a cannonball in the middle of the pool, a version of thinking it over, and caused quite a bit of consternation on the part of her family. I believe her father's exact words were, you're going to end up chipping paint off some ship out in the ocean. The decision, though impulsive, turned out to be a fantastic one, however, as evidenced by her attendance here today at a retirement after a successful 24-year-long naval career. I've known Suzanne since she was a letter jacket-clad younger sister of my girlfriend, Kate, up front here. Quite some time in high school. To see her today in this moment is both surreal and incredibly gratifying at the same time. Suzanne, I speak for your Wisconsin family, your mother, your sister, 2 nieces, when I say that we are so proud of you for your myriad of accomplishments you have made during your naval career. And I also speak for your late father, Dan, when I say we're so happy that none of these accomplishments involve chipping paint off a ship in the ocean. Congratulations, we love you, happy, peaceful retirement, well deserved, and I believe somewhere your father is exactly looking out for his daughter.
For those kind words. Today's guest speaker is a retired Master Chief Cryptologic Technician Interpreter Mike Kraft. Mike joined the Navy in 1992 and attended boot camp in San Diego, California. He attended language school at the Defense Language Institute in Monterey, California, and completed his technical training at Goodfellow Air Force Base in San Angelo, Texas. He served as a direct support operator, leading chief petty officer, and senior enlisted throughout our community, including multiple hardship tours of duty right here in Hawaii. He fought traffic the whole way on the H-1 to be here today. Thank you for joining us today, Mike.
Pretty sure the school was for me and not for you, Susan. That's what happens when you get old. Before we begin, please just take a moment of silence here, and we're going to acknowledge those who cannot be here today because they're either standing the watch or they have paid their ultimate sacrifice so that we could be here today. 6 July 2007, CTT1, Stephen Daughtry. 20 September 2008, CTM3, Matthew O'Brien. 21 September 2010, CTRCS, Blake McClendon. 6 August 2011, CTR1, Michael Strange. 13 March 2013, CTTC, Christian Pike. 16 January 2019, CTICS, Shannon Kent. Well, aloha and good morning, and welcome to this retirement ceremony for Senior Chief Suzanne Abarca after 24 years of service to her country. I gotta tell you, I was a little surprised that she asked me to do this. Suzanne and I have a very storied past. Somehow, over the course of her, 26 years, 24, we ended up always crossing paths in the most random of times and random of places, and really weren't stationed together until here in Hawaii. So those hardship tours, thanks for helping me endure them. You made life better. I'll tell you, I was just so humbled and honored to be here. So let's quick introduce a couple of people. Tom, Suzanne's mother-in-law Carolyn, Gabby, Antonio, and Kate and Sean, thank you all for being here. Esteemed guests and distinguished guests, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to help bid this shipment ashore. So Suzanne's story, it really truly is quite the adventure. Somehow in the course of 24 years, I think you are the second to last person to ever evade their center of excellence. And you did just about anything and everything to do it. In fact, I remember a specific phone call about you trying to come back here. And I couldn't have thought of a better person to serve N7 in Na'ak, Hawaii for those last few years. But a lot's changed in 24 years. You know, when she joined the Navy, you know, it was just the beginning of don't ask, don't tell. Tail hook was still a thing with mandatory stand-downs. And women didn't go to sea. You know, women weren't in combat. And whether she believes it or not, she was a trailblazer in our community, in our country, and in our armed services. And many hundreds and probably thousands of armed service members truly emulated you and followed your lead. So thank you for all that you have done. She's probably forgotten more people and more sea stories than most of us could ever write down, but she's been tempered by some great chiefs and other leaders, both in the mess and from the wardroom. You know, it was always easy when working with Suzanne, you know, that she was taught to aspire to be great, and it came out in everything that she did. You know, they taught her that you needed to have a voice, not only in the mess, but in the everydays, in the P-ways, on the deck plates. And most importantly, it's okay to argue. It's okay to have differences. But we need to walk away under one voice and to march accordingly. If you didn't have the opportunity to serve with Suzanne, here's just a couple of things you probably didn't know about her. So she made chief really, really young. I think 2006. And that was, what, 7 years? Boy, that in our time frame, that was ridiculously quick. She married the love of her life in 2005, and I didn't find this out until I did a little bit of cyber stalking on you. I always knew you were educated, but now I realize I think you kept me around because I was a project. She has a bachelor's in psychology. I probably helped write a paper or two. And then you got your master's degree in cybersecurity. One thing I still don't understand is why you're such a die-hard Packers fan. So, you know, now with Aaron Rodgers running away, I really am looking forward to seeing which team you follow this year. In her years of scampering around the Navy, you know, she was always supposed to go to Fort Gordon. And you were legendary. There were only like 2 or 3 people who never made it to Georgia. And you went everywhere else. You went to Monterey, you made it to San Diego, you made it out here, tours in Bahrain. Just absolutely amazing. But I have certain memories of you during my deploying times in Bahrain, and even though we were never stationed together, you understood the word shipmate. And countless times, you just appeared magically. Hey, you guys need to do your laundry. You want something to eat? There's a party tonight, let me take you. You always made us feel welcome. You knew how to take care of us when our families weren't there, because you made us your family. Suzanne doesn't like to talk about her past. I wish I could tell you lots of cool stories. She doesn't talk a lot about herself. But somehow she always draws you into a conversation. She always made you feel more important than she is. She always had a way of getting information from you and helping you out. That's what I remember the most, sitting side by side with you for several years. You never forgot somebody's birthday. You never forgot their important days. The times I would come in the morning just to sit down with you, and then somebody would walk past. Shipmate, why are you here? It's your birthday, or your wife had an appointment. Go home. And the looks on their faces just flabbergasted. You made other people important, and that allowed them to be more present and relevant to the work environment. And that is not an easy character trait, but it was probably your best leadership trait that I ever observed. Suzanne's just always had somebody's back, and it didn't matter who it was. I'd rarely see you in turbulent waters, and when you were, it was nice to see you uncomfortable, to be willing to accept somebody else's help. And it's okay. And you're going to be going home. And you're going to be spending a whole lot more time with him right there, and you're going to have to figure those things out. And you might need to have a little bit of his help, because you're not going to have everybody else to boss around and to remember all their busy days or their important things in life. Suzanne always has an uncanny ability, like I said, to show up at different times and places in people's careers. You know, I spoke to a couple of people about you to try to grab some stories, and that's where I found it wasn't just me who didn't tell things of your past. Everybody else was just, I wish I could be there. Oh, I remember this time she took care of me. Remember this time she met me here. It was always on an appointment, and you just always extended that true feeling of shipmate. She's been the voice of reason in my decision-making. In my time while we served in the Navy, we used to always joke about how we always had the same goals and destinations, but we never had the same course or direction to get there. And we definitely enjoyed how we would take those different paths to get to those same end goals. I've enjoyed learning from you. You've become my little sister, away from my own sister, and truly you were that sister in the mess for me. I'm going to miss you always finishing my sentences or saying what I was already thinking. Those mornings always made my day, and we usually close our evenings the same way. I am really proud to say that I have had one of the best sisters in the United States Navy, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these next few years here on island hold for you, and what is going to happen even after that. A wise mentor once told me that wisdom is a combination of both knowledge and experience. You know, I found Suzanne is not just a wise mom, a wise wife, or a wise friend in chief. You know, she didn't always do things right, but she always learned from her mistakes. And then she started to take the time to fix those things, and she made less and less mistakes and did more and more right things. She took the time to share her experiences with those around her and pass those lessons on to others to help them along their paths to experience less resistance in their lives. You know, I'd like to close with, Suzanne had something written on her mug that I never took the opportunity to ask her because she was too silent. But it always made me think of this. All of you wearing that uniform today, you are warfighters. Are you ready? What is your role while you wear that uniform? You've all signed up to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Have you taken the time to think about what that truly means? Are you going to follow without hesitation the orders of those appointed over you? Suzanne was the person that lived that. And I think whenever I think of what was on your mug, I'm glad I never asked, because I like to embellish it and think that's what you thought. Because I know you've been in some things, and I know you've been a part and seen those tough times. And you passed that on because you always did what ought to be done. I'd like to thank you all for taking this time out of your day one more time to come and send this extraordinary shipmate home ashore. Shipmate, rest your oars. Job well done.
We will now present Senior Chief Abarca with her End of Tour Award. Military personnel, attention to award. This is to certify that the Secretary of the Navy has awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal Gold Star and Dual Third Award to Senior Chief Cryptologic Technician Interpreter Suzanne Abarca, United States Navy for meritorious service while serving as Technical Language Advisor, Leading Chief Petty Officer, and N7 Senior Enlisted Leader at Navy Information Operations Command, Hawaii from June 2019 to June 2023. Senior Chief Abarca was red warning to U.S. and Indo-Pacific Command units, and she led the command training and indoctrination programs for 2,000 sailors as N7 Senior Enlisted Leader. Senior Chief Abarca's superior performance of duty culminated her 24 years of honorable service and dedicated military service. Senior Chief Abarca's distinctive accomplishments, perseverance, and steadfast devotion to duty reflected great credit upon herself were in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. Given this 5th day of April 2023, signed for the Secretary of the Navy, Joshua J. Sanders, Captain, United States Navy, Commanding Officer. Appreciation. Certificate of Appreciation from the United States Navy to all who shall see these presents. Greetings. To Thomas, Gabriella, and Antonio Abarca, by the authority vested in me, it is my pleasure to express the grateful appreciation of the United States Navy to you for your unselfish, faithful, and devoted service during your wife and mother's 24-year naval career. Your unfailing support and understanding have helped immeasurably to make possible your sailors' lasting contribution to the nation. To those who say a single woman cannot make a difference, I say wrong. Your wife and mom did. She made our Navy stronger and she kept our nation safe. With her service to the Navy now complete, she will be able to spend more time with you in the future. The United States Navy thanks you and I thank you. Given this 5th day of April 2023, signed Joshua J. Sanders, Captain, United States Navy, Commanding Officer. Association.
Anyone who's been asking me knows that I was up late last night trying to cobble something together because I knew what I wanted to express, but I couldn't come up with the words to say it. So this is my my attempt at expressing what I'm feeling, because what I'm feeling is love, gratitude, joy, and sorrow. It's not easy to say goodbye to part of my life for so many years. But I'm really happy, so don't let the tears fool you guys. Sean already referred to how my career started. I would like to say, because my parents never believed me when I told them this, I didn't tell them I was thinking about joining the Navy until I'd been thinking about it for about a month, doing all that research, looking into it, soul searching, and then I decided, after I made my own decision, to let other people in and let them be that final check that said, go ahead and try this. I was a college senior at the time, getting my degree in psychology, not knowing what I wanted to do with my life. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I just knew two things. I wanted whatever I did to matter beyond myself. I didn't want it just about making a paycheck. But I also wanted my paycheck to be big enough that I only had to work one job and that I could have time to travel and to go to grad school and do some other stuff than just work to make the ends meet. And that's a really hard combination to find. After I had multiple job opportunities that turned out to be pyramid schemes, I was reading the classified ads because that's what we did to find jobs in that 1999, a long time ago. I know a lot of you guys have probably never even seen a classified ad. But I saw an ad for the Air Force, and I thought I should just chuck it all and join the military. And then I laughed, and I went on with my life. And then I woke up that night with my heart pounding, thinking, I should join the military. And after this happened over and over again, night after night, that's when I started really looking into it. And in the end, I decided to enlist because I didn't want it to be too late and to regret not having tried it. So, in my college town, we only had a Navy recruiter. It worked out. It ended up really good. I found everything I was looking for in the Navy. I found that job that meant more than just earning a paycheck. I've taken lives, I've saved lives, I've had a front seat to critical moments in history. I've traveled to some incredible places across the country and around the world. Some other places I never want to see again. I got to go to graduate school. I got to get my master's degree. I actually started a couple of different programs before I settled on one and saw it all the way through to the finish. But even though the Navy gave me everything I wanted, it gave me so much more than that. I've been pushed beyond my limits. I found strength I never knew I had. I faced death, and I found what was really important in life. I found a family that was huge and diverse and wonderful in all of you. In fact, with the exception of my sister Kate, my brother-in-law Sean, every single person here today is here because I joined the Navy, and I couldn't be more grateful. My sailors, officers, and brother and sister chiefs, it has been an absolute privilege to serve beside you. You never cease to amaze me with your dedication, your courage, your ingenuity. While I will miss being a part of all of this, I know I leave our Navy and our country in good hands. I am so honored and so humbled to have been a part of this and to be able to call all of you my shipmates. My friends who made it here today, you are my extended family, the family that I got beyond blood. Thank you for being such an important part of my life. I cherish all the good times we've shared, and I look forward to many more. I'm especially looking forward to more trips on the houseboat USS Orion. I'll bring that Hefeweizen. Mike, you are the big brother I never had. And I know at times I've said you were the big brother I never wanted, but the fact is, you were everything I could have wanted if I had a brother of my own. Your guidance and your friendship have been invaluable to me, both professionally and personally. Thank you for coming here today to be a part of my ceremony, and I am so happy to join you in retirement. To my mother-in-law, Carol, thank you for welcoming me into your family 18 years ago. You raised a good man, and I am eternally grateful to you for bringing him into the world so he could come into my life. John, as you said, you knew me long before either of us put on a uniform. Who would have thought we'd be here today? Thank you for inviting me for this, the second most important ceremony of my life after my wedding. Kate, you were there at the beginning, and it means the world to me to have you here at the end. I'm also pleased that despite your fears for my safety, I have never been floating in pieces in the Persian Gulf. I didn't end up brutally murdered like the General's daughter. So there's a movie, The General's Daughter. Came out in 1999. John Travolta, I think, was in it, right? And he's investigating the murder of the General's daughter, who's an Army officer. Well, Kate decided to watch that movie the night before I left for boot camp. And she came home to where I was staying with her, sobbing, begging me to be careful, and I couldn't trust who I thought I could trust. Kate, I trusted people, and I was right to trust them. And it worked out. And that was horrible time. Gabby and Antonio, your strength and resiliency astound me. I have pulled you out of schools and homes and away from friends to go with me from one place to another, and then I haven't been there for your birthdays or for holidays or the first and last days of school, other important moments in your lives. And I hope you've always known that I really wished I could be there, and that sometimes it was unavoidable. You are bright and kind, funny and talented, and I'm so proud of the people you are and the people that you are becoming. I'll be here for you for the rest of this. I love you both. This is where it gets hard. The best thing that Navy ever did for me was giving me the opportunity to meet you in San Angelo, Texas in 2001. If it wasn't for the Navy and the Marine Corps, because he was in the Marines at the time, I don't know how this small town Wisconsin girl ever meets a boy from the high desert of California. You are the most important person in my life, and you are the only reason that I have made it to this point with the level of success that I have. You've tolerated late night phone calls, long hours, and 17 chief initiation seasons. It's so hard. You've uprooted your life multiple times to move with me from one duty station to another. You held down the fort at home while I gallivanted around the world. You even took care of 2 kids in diapers while I spent a year unaccompanied in Bahrain. Yeah, that was a rough one. You somehow didn't leave me. I don't know how. You have been my strength, and you have been my other love. And I love you more than I could have ever said. People keep asking me what I'm going to do with myself once I'm retired, and frankly, I really don't know. I'm going to take a little time to relax, unwind, detox, and find out what it's like to have my time be my time, or Tom's time, or Andy's time. You know, maybe not entirely my own time, but pretty close. The only thing I really know that I'm going to do is a plan that Tom and I made many years ago to watch every episode of MASH in order. We've never seen them in order before. So, honey, it's time. So, as I stand here at the end of my career with a heart full of gratitude, I really do hope that you forget my words, because there aren't enough of them to express the deep and abiding love that I have for the Navy and for all of you. I wish to leave you with a long hug goodbye, or in the more eloquent words of the song Aloha Oi, one fond embrace until we meet again. Mahalo, bitch.
I was going to do this, and honestly, I had no idea until this morning, actually. By the way, Mahalo Bitches is actually something that is inside our house. You go upstairs to see it. So, I'd like everyone to raise your hands if you have ever smiled because of my mom. See that? How are you not raising your hand? All in favor of throwing off this shit right now? Okay. My whole life, military is You better not leave every time I get good through now. When I found out just now that mom kind of jumped right into joining the military, found out who to thank for all my very, very last second decisions. And for many other things, my mom is a warrior, and many of you who have been yelled at, I don't even know what to say, but I hope she wasn't in your nightmares at night. She is probably the strongest woman probably is a complete understatement. She is the strongest woman I've ever met, and I'm sure many of us can say the same thing. She has made many hard decisions and persevered. You could say she walked through fire in a way. I would say literally, but she is an absolute English nerd, okay? She means everything grammatically correct. I remember sometimes being scared that she would come back home, but I never really understood what it meant when she was gone. Now that I'm older, it's like, wow. She's gone through seriously hell of that. And then had to deal with me and my brother. Couldn't leave us alone for a second about Tony getting his injuries, going to the hospital. I remember that I would always dream that she would come home, and ironically enough, that's the day she came home, and every time she came home was probably the happiest day of my little kid life. She hasn't deployed in a long time, thank goodness, and I am very, very happy to call her my mother. Many of you know her as Lady Death. We have an obsession with ducks in this house, and I actually just made this. I was trying to hide it from her all morning while I was trying to put it together. Mother Death the duck. Many people are giving her awards today for her time serving this country, but I think raising children, especially me, is a war in itself. And she has more than won that war time and time again. And she has helped me stay alive and gotten me out of really shit positions. So I have to make my own. Threw it together once again. There are so many things I wish I could do for her, but so little time, so little resources. So I wanted to give this to her and share it all with you. My mom has saved my life on multiple occasions and given me my life. She forgot the water. So while she may be retiring and no longer serving the military, she's always going to be that kick-ass soldier in all our hearts. And when we need her help, no matter where she is, she's always right there. And she is one who loves unconditionally and loves forever. So thank you all for being in her lives. Thank you, Dad, for grinning at her and constantly glancing at her so she would approach you. Definitely glad I got her as a mom. Best mom ever, really. Yeah, there's so many words I wish I could say today. And I know, as any mother and daughter, we fight sometimes. But come on, we fight over stupid shit. And she's always the one coming back and checking on me, checking on Dad when he's upset, being there for Tony while he's silently existing. say how proud I am of my mom. The words are just not there. And I'm sure if Kunu was here, he'd probably do his own speech. He's our dog. Yeah. So thank you, Mom. You're the best mom ever. If you didn't hear that, good. All right. Well, we give a hand for Lady Death.
Flag detail. Hope.
Flag detail. Halt. I am the flag of the United States of America. My name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically over great institutions of learning. I stand guard with the greatest military power in the world. Look up and see me. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. When I am flown with my fellow banners, my head is a little higher, my colors a little truer. I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am worshipped. I am saluted. I am respected. I am revered. I am loved, and I am feared. I have fought in every battle of every war for more than 200 years at Gettysburg, Shiloh, Appomattox, San Juan Hill, the trenches of France, the Argonne Forest, Anzio, Rome, the beaches of Normandy, Midway, Guadalcanal, Okinawa, Korea, Vietnam, the Tonkin Gulf, the Persian Gulf, Bosnia, Afghanistan, Iraq, and a score of other places long forgotten by all but those who were there with me. I was there after the attack on September 11th. I quickly restood my ground on top of the rubble of the World Trade Center and reestablished my position draped over the smoking ruins of the Pentagon. I lead my troops. I follow them. I watch over them. They love me. I was on a small hill in Iwo Jima. I was dirty, battle-worn, and tired, but my sailors and Marines cheered me, and I was proud. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of countries that I have helped set free. It does not hurt. I am invincible. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of my own country. And when it is by those whom I have served with in battle, it hurts. But I shall overcome, for I am strong. I have slipped the bonds of earth, and from my vantage point on the moon, I stand watch over the uncharted new frontiers of space. I have been a silent witness to all of America's finest hours, but my finest hour comes when I am torn into strips to be used as bandages for my wounded comrades on the battlefield, or when I fly at half-mast to honor my sailors and Marines. But when I lie in the trembling arms of a grieving mother at the graveside of her fallen son or daughter, I am proud. My name is Old Glory. Long may I wait. Dear God, long may I wait.
Flag detail. Hope.
Flag detail. Over. March.
This national anthem presented to Tom is flown on March 7, 2023 at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Home of the Green Bay Packers. Retired Master Chief, New York Times bestselling author, YouTube sensation, local rock star, oh right, Mr. Russ Crandall will now be the Chief Petty Officer's retirement duties.
Thanks for that. Good morning, everyone. I'm trying to find my spot. 1 second. All chief petty officers, past and present, attention. I specifically asked Master Chief Soto if I can say that part because I haven't been able to toss anyone around for a while. You have on this day experienced that which comes to all of us who serve on active duty in our name. I say I go
form of independent duty. Remember well that you have been, and will always will be, an accepted member of the most exclusive of all fellowships, that of the U.S. Navy Chief Petty Officers. The active duty chiefs salute you. And salute! Ready, two. The retired chiefs welcome you. I wish you the traditional fair winds and following seats.
Please be seated. Lieutenant Colonel Bealey will now present Senior Chief Abarca's Fleet Reserve Certificate. Certificate of the Fleet Reserve of the United States Navy. This is to certify that Senior Chief Technological Technician Interpreter Suzanne Abarca was transferred from active duty to the Fleet Reserve of the United States Navy on the 5th day of April 2023 after 24 years of service. Their certificate is awarded as a testimonial of faithful and honorable service.
Watch. While some of us were in our bunks at night, this shipmate stood the watch. While some of us were in school learning how to ply our trade, this chief stood the watch. And yes, before some of us were even born, Senior Chief Abarca stood the watch. And in those early years, when the storm clouds of war could be seen on the horizon of history, this shipmate stood the watch. Many a time she would cast her eye ashore, and she would see her family standing at the pier, needing that hand to hold, needing that warm embrace in the hard times. But still, she stood the watch. She stood the watch for 24 years so that we and our families, our fellow countrymen, could sleep at night safely, knowing that a sailor stood the watch. So today, we are here to say, shipmate, you stand relieved. Chief's mess, attention! Senior Chief, you stand relieved. We have the watch. Shipmate on shore. Aye, aye, Chief. Flat board. Left or right. Make. Books.
You may be seated. Boatswain, stand by to pipe the sound. This is an order that has been passed on naval ships from the early 1600s through today. Spanish, French, Dutch, English. Yes, every navy in the world has used the boatswain's call and sideboards to bring aboard or send ashore its officers and all visiting dignitaries. It was not uncommon for the commanding officer of naval ships to order up the jolly boat with 8 strong backs to man the oars, sideboards, and a boatswain to send an old shipmate home ashore, never to sail a navy ship again. All hands on deck was passed. The crew fell in at parade for muster. The commanding officer would make a speech telling about the retirees' service, the great battles fought upon the open sea, the victories, the storms weathered, voyages to strange and distinct lands. He would also speak of shipmates left behind. The 1700s saw the United States Navy set sail. They set sail with the ideas and goals that would make them the best Navy in the world, that would build traditions that stand the test of time. But even today, in keeping with naval tradition, we heed to stop the engines, lay about smartly, drop the anchor, and stand by to honor one of our shipmates. to honor those years served, the guidance, the leadership, the experience, and above all, the friendship this shipmate has given for 24 years. Ladies and gentlemen, Senior Chief Abarca will now request permission to go ashore one final time. Will all guests please rise? Time orderly, strike 2 bells. Senior Chief Cryptologic Technician Interpretive Suzanne Abarca, United States Navy, retired, departing. At this time, I invite all chief heads. Strike 2 bells. Navy family, retired, departing. This concludes today's ceremony.